Afternoon peeps, good afternoon everyone. How are we all doing? Hopefully all doing very, very well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Also, don't forget, give me a follow on Instagram if you have it, Ade Oladipo. All right, before we talk all things Conor Benn, Chris EUBANK Jr., crazy day yesterday, by the way. I just want to quickly mention this. I have a podcast called The Men's Room with Rory Jennings, where we talk about everything, fatherhood, relationships. We've done a few episodes recently on depression, anxiety, and mental health. And a lot of you guys have reached out to me and said the podcast helped you guys. I was open about my own struggles in the past with depression and just feeling like I'm a bit lost. And I still have those days as well, by the way, trust me. Maybe because you guys see me come on this video and always smile and it's always energy. I still have those days. And a lot of you guys have reached out to me, and I'm going to reach out back to you guys as well. If you are struggling with anything, so mental health, again, depression, anxiety, send me an email. Send me an email. And look, I might not get back to you straight away, but I promise I will get back to you. A lot of you guys that have followed the channel for a few years would know that I call people. I try and do what I can do. It's not enough, and I know that. I wish I could do more, but obviously we're super busy right now. But yeah, a few of you have reached out to me. I've got back to a few of you already. But if you are going through anything, please, please, please try and talk to someone. It helped me a lot. I went to speaking therapy maybe about 6-7 years ago when I felt like I was in a really dark place, and it helped me. And if that isn't your thing and you'd prefer to kind of just reach out to me, look, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. So yeah, please, if you are going through anything, please, 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 please reach out to me and let's have a conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much to those that have been brave enough to reach out. And I say brave because it isn't easy. Trust me, it isn't easy. I didn't want to reach out to anybody and tell anyone what I was going through. So it's a brave thing that you guys have reached out. Quick one, the latest 888 Sport video is up. Please do me a favor. The link is in the description. Go over there, leave a comment, support your boy. This time we're talking about strikers. Me and Rory, as always, don't agree. He thinks that Haaland's going to be a bust. I'm like, are you crazy? I think he's going to be up there to win the Golden Boot. So again, give that a follow. Go over there, subscribe if you haven't done that, and leave a comment, support your boy. All right, let's talk about EUBANK Jr. versus Conor Benn. And I have to make sure I say EUBANK Jr. versus Conor Benn as opposed to Conor Benn versus EUBANK Jr. The reason I say that is because I interviewed everyone yesterday, so I done like a bunch of interviews. And when I sat down with Chris, I said, what was I doing? I was doing like a piece to camera first, and I was like, make sure you watch it live on DAZN pay-per-view, October the 8th, Conor Benn, Chris EUBANK. And he's like, oh, it's EUBANK versus Benn. So he clearly, that's important to him, that he is the A-side in this. Whether or not he is, I don't know. I think both of them, I think it's level, if I'm honest with you, in terms of sort of eyeballs. I think Conor brings in his own fan base and Chris brings in his, and obviously with the fathers as well, I think it's split. But obviously Chris has insisted, and this must be in the contract, that it's EUBANK versus Benn. So much went on yesterday behind the scenes, and it's weird to kind of see it, to be like involved in it. And look, credit to both boxers as well, because I done my first interview with them, I think about 10 o'clock in the morning. They had already been on the road for a couple of hours before I spoke to them, but they both gave me good energy. And then they had to do like loads of media stuff for your written journos, and then one-on-one stuff, and then the press conference, and then I did the face-off with them. So it's a long, long day of answering really and truly the same questions. I mean, you know, some people will be unique and, you know, do stuff different, but 9 times out of 10, it's the same questions. You know, what's your dad saying about this? Do you think you can knock him out? Who's going to win? Why are you going up? Rehydration clause. So they're repeating the same answers time and time again, and it can get a bit boring. I was a bit upset. So I did the face-off. That was the last thing they did. Then everyone went home. And I wanted to do the face-off straight after the press conference, just because I felt like I wanted that energy that they showed in the press conference. I wanted that in the face-off, and I got it. Don't get me wrong, I got it. Your boy pushed for it, but I feel like it might have been a bit better if I got them a bit earlier. A bit better. Maybe in my head, I trying to look. The gold standard for face-offs is White Chisora and Froch Groves. And anything other than that is going to be deemed not great. This was a very good face-off, by the way. Make sure you watch it. But in my head, I always am very, very self-critical because I want it to be fucking crazy. I want someone to throw water at someone. I want someone to have a dig. That's silly me, right? If I had to score, you know, like for these kind of things, and look, you know, boxing is mental warfare as well as what goes on in the ring. You know, your first dig at your opponent, you know, trying to get under the skin, it all adds up to it. A very, very small percentage, but it's like putting money in the bank. It really is. It's like chopping down the tree. And if we're going to score it, you have to give it to EUBANK. EUBANK won that press conference. EUBANK, he's just a bit too experienced in this, right? He's done this before. He's done it with Groves. He's done it with the girl. Obviously, he's had his time with Billy Joe Saunders, so he's done this rodeo before. This is Benn's first one. This is Benn's first sort of opponent, really, that's actually going at him. You think of all the recent ones. Van Heerden, no. Algieri, no. Granados a little bit, but not really. Vargas, no. And the other guys certainly didn't. Formella certainly didn't. So this is the first time someone's actually going at him. Ben's a great speaker, but Chris is a very, very good speaker. And as soon as Chris said, what did he say? And I saw it get under the skin of Ben immediately when he said, I'm only going to be 60%. Like, you know, the weight, and we're going to talk about the weight. The weight's obviously going to play a factor, but it doesn't matter because that's enough to beat you. Like, if I was 100%, it would be a public execution. And I can't lie to you, everyone looked at each other like, he's good. He's a very, very good talker. And as he was talking, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, I actually feel sorry for those fighters that had to fight peak Conor McGregor back in the day. You're going to lose. You're going to lose that part of it. And then that will affect you in the ring because you're going to want to take his head off. And that's what Chris is trying to do. He's trying to make sure that Ben, almost a bit like Nigel, comes out of the fucking first round and attacks him. And that's what Chris wants. Chris wants a bit of a war in the middle of the ring. And Chris being the bigger and maybe stronger of the two, that will benefit him. A boxing match might not benefit him because I actually think Conor's a better boxer technically than Chris Eubank Jr. So yeah, I felt that Chris won the war of the words. Look, it might not mean anything come fight night, but there's a reason that boxers like to have that opportunity to get under their opponent's skin. Because again, they feel like they're just putting money in the bank. He even said something like, I'm going to father you. I'm going to liquidate you. Literally, he was just good. He was just very, very good. And then I was keen to see the face-off. I was keen to see the first time they went nose to nose, like just so I could see the size difference. And there was a size difference, obviously. I mean, even in height, they looked like about 3 or 4 inches between them. Arm length, obviously, Thingy definitely has a bigger reach, EUBANK. So look, EUBANK's got all these advantages, but the weight's interesting. Obviously, look, this fight we now know is going to be at 157 pounds. Chris Eubank has never made that in a fight. I asked him this when I interviewed him for DAZN, and I was like, look, you know, because I was looking at BoxRec, and the lowest he's ever been, I think, was 158 and a half. And he said that was actually a mistake. His scales were off, so he didn't come in at 158. Why would he do it? The fight's at 160. But there was a fight, I think it was 2014, when he came at 158 and a half. And he said when he weighed himself in his hotel scales, he was 160. So he was shocked like 20 minutes later that it was that. So that was a mistake. He said, look, he has no idea what's going to be like getting down to 157, but it is, I think, 125 or 100,000 pounds fine for every pound he's over. So I pushed him. I was like, well, you know, obviously he's rich. I mean, surely it's going to get to a stage where you get to 160 and think, I ain't cutting anymore. I'd rather give you 300,000. Like, you know, he's going to get paid millions for this fight. But he was like, no, I'm professional. You know, and I believe him. I genuinely believe him that I'm professional. I'm not doing that. We're going to make 157. The issue about making 157, that's all fine, is the rehydration. He can't come in. I think he can only come in on fight night, ring walk time, at 168 pounds. Look, Conor's a big guy as well, by the way. Like, Conor was walking around big. His legs look really thick. But to cut that much weight to get down to 157 and only then be able to rehydrate to 168, that makes me feel like he might have to get this job done early, EUBANK. Like, I still think EUBANK's the favourite. I do, right? I mean, this is a massive, massive step up for Conor. I mean, And I put this to both in the face-off. I was like, look, Conor, you know, you have to be honest here. You know, your biggest fight is Algieri. I mean, you know, Algieri coming to the end, a small guy as well, really. I mean, Algieri's fought at 140. This is EUBANK, who's not damaged, who's 168, has had fights at 168, has been hit by George Groves clean and didn't budge. It's a big, big ask. It's a big, big jump. The only thing that makes that jump a bit easier is this weight thing. That's it. Like, really and truly, if this was a Brook GGG scenario where Brook just went up to 160 and like, fuck it, I don't even know if there's a rehydration clause, probably wasn't. Brook was like, whatever. If it was that, then you'd always favour EUBANK. You would, right? EUBANK's just bigger. And if he can come into the ring wherever he wants, that's perfect for him, right? The idea of him having to cut that weight and then you can't even rehydrate fully and then you've got to go and have a fight? Boy, that's tough. That's going to be very, very tough on his body. So, I don't know. I think I still make EUBANK a favourite, but that swings it ever so closer to me thinking that CONOR BENN, down the stretch, might nick this one. Might nick it. But again, gun to the head, I'm going EUBANK here. I'm going for the guy that's, I know, I think's at world level, whereas with Ben, I still don't quite know where he is yet. We don't know. It's going to do big numbers though. Like me and Conor actually spoke about this. We was like, it's a bit cheeky as well, this conversation, but we was like, because we said it right in front of a DAZN person. We was like, if this fight was on Sky, this fight would do really big numbers. And we said the reason we said that is because this is where we will see how good DAZN's own machine is. Because again, if this was on Sky, you know this is going to be a Monday Night Football. It's going to be a side banner every time they talk. You know what it's like. You just know how they do it. Obviously, DAZN don't have that. Now, look, the guys have gone out and done as much media as they can. I mean, they're on ITV, they're on BBC. So they're literally pushing everywhere they can push, apart from, obviously, Sky. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It was a bit disappointing not to see Sky there yesterday at the press conference. Like, I know the fight's not on Sky, but it was a bit disappointing that it still is Ben versus EUBANK. Surely, I mean, you cover boxing. Surely you want to cover it. Like, I tell you this now, like every big Sky event, like even Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields coming up, I'm literally begging DAZN to let us be there. Like, come on, we've got to be there. We cover boxing. We don't just cover DAZN, we cover boxing. Ak and Barak always in America make sure that they're at the big events, always. But they were at Canelo Caliplant, for example, and they had a little space there because, you know, they want to promote boxing. So it was a bit disappointing to see Sky not there. But look, obviously there's so many things going on behind the scenes. What else did EUBANK say that I thought was funny? That's it. They're asking EUBANK, has he started training yet? I don't know. I ain't started training yet. Obviously, look, he's trying to get into the mind of Conor and it's working. He's like, why am I going to start training? I'll start when this is over. Whereas Ben was like, yeah, I've started. EUBANK's like, I don't really need to train for you. Like, EUBANK is dismissing Conor. Like, this is, like, what, you're nothing. I don't see what the hype's about. You've done nothing. You've fought no one. I'm going to destroy you. If I don't destroy, I retire. But look, EUBANK was on form yesterday, and this is a guy that's used to selling events. Like, he was very, very good. Very, very good in the face-off as well. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But yeah, man, I think EUBANK won, Ben nil. I think. And look, hopefully there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that DAZN and Matchroom are going to feed us with. Because, again, it deserves proper promotion. Eddie did say, I asked Eddie about, like, why is it at the O2? Like, this could have done a stadium. He's like, yeah, 100% could have done a stadium. It was a case of difficult to get a stadium. Bear in mind, obviously, we're in football season now. But they think, you know, there could be a chance this fight is so good and the next one does a stadium. Nigel Benn is flying out, I think, next week. So Nigel Benn will be here. He wants to literally be in fight camp with his son. I asked Chris about his dad, and Chris says, look, he can't get in touch with his dad right now. He doesn't know where he is. That's a shame. Obviously, look, we know Chris EUBANK Sr. is still going through a lot after his son died, so maybe that's just his way of shutting the world off, but he wants his dad there. He said it, and it felt very emotional when he said it. I want my dad here for this. This is the biggest fight. I also asked this is the final point before we end the video. I also asked Chris, Conor, apologies, what's more important, this fight or a world title? And he literally paused for like 30 seconds. Like, what would you rather win? Would you rather win this fight, or would you rather win a world title? And after about a minute of he said, this fight. This fight means a lot, people. I can't wait for it. October the 8th. Big one. Big one for DAZN. Let's see what the DAZN machine can do. Big one for Matchroom as well. Yeah, can't wait for it.